Hi, welcome back to the Hydroponics Daily. Today we're going to talk about another biostimulant group of biostimulants called amino acids. And you'll have heard of amino acids. They're the basic building blocks of proteins. And the chemical structure is here a central carbon atom, an amine group, which is basically just a nitrogen, two hydrogens, carboxylic acid, a hydrogen here, and then a side chain. And that side chain determines which particular amino acid it is. I've forgotten how many essential amino acids there are that are required for human life, but it's about 24, is it? Something like that. And plants make their own, so they don't need you to apply amino acids, whereas humans, we do not make our own amino acids, so we need to eat them. But plants can benefit from having them applied, and it's not just they don't need to make amino acids, you can get them to do different things, the plants, if you apply amino acids. The important point to consider here is that you want to apply a blend of amino acids, not one single amino acid. That's not because they need them all, it's because if you apply one, the plants make amino acids in groups, in sort of like families, and if you apply one, say of glutamic acid, all the ones that are made in the same pathway, the plant detects the glutamic acid and thinks, oh, if I've got plenty of glutamic acid, I've also got plenty of the others in that pathway. And so you can actually, the plants switch off production of that whole pathway, and the plant becomes deficient in amino acids and dies. So you definitely don't want to put single amino acids in. You always want to put a blend in. And that's useful because most of the sources of amino acids are blends. So the most readily available source of amino acids is food byproducts, and you can get proteins from food byproducts that are not required, and you hydrolyze them by putting them in acids or alkali and breaking them down into their amino acid parts, breaking the proteins down. The opposite of what a plant will do when it builds up proteins. So that might be sort of like pea protein can be used as an amino acid. It could be yeast extracts that are high in amino acids, or it could be something like chicken feathers or something from the leather industry. You don't want to be taking much from the leather industry because they have other nasty heavy metals and things like that. But you could get amino acids from all sorts of different things. Pig's blood. There's a company in the UK that makes amino acid biostimulants from pig's blood, for example. Delightful, isn't it? And here I've highlighted the particular amino acids to look out for. The first one is glutamic acid, and that is very important because plants respond to glutamic acid like 100-fold or 1,000-fold more than they would other amino acids. So you put it in the soil near to a root, they'll stimulate root growth around the glutamic acid dramatically compared to other amino acids. That's shown by research at Lancaster University. They showed that glutamic acid was the most potent of all the amino acids when it came to root growth stimulation. Another important amino acid is tryptophan, which is a precursor to auxin hormone. So if you're looking for stimulating rooting or the rooting of cuttings, then tryptophan will be something you'd be looking for in the ingredients. And then other things that amino acids do is they stimulate beneficial microbes, the growth of them. It's a good nitrogen source because it's got an amine group. They're important for nitrogen metabolism, so you can apply them to plants and they'll use them as an alternative source of nitrogen. That's important in cold weather where plants are struggling to get amino acids in, and then they can use the amino acids directly. It used to be thought that they couldn't use them directly and they had to be broken down, but that's not true. And then the other thing to look out for is L versus D amino acids. If you're synthesizing amino acids in a lab, in a factory with a synthetic process, you'll get a mixture of L and D amino acids, and it's only the L ones that are natural. So this is an L amino acid. If it's what's called a stereoisomer, that R and that side group, whatever the side group is, that switches round, and that's a D amino acids. And some people think these are poisonous to humans, poisonous to plants. That's debatable. There is research both ways, and depends on what the amino acid is, I suppose, as well. And so you need to make sure you're using L-amino acids. I did hear once that extremely high pHs can cause a flip between L and D amino acid isomers. I'm not sure how that works or whether that's true. If it is, then you should avoid sort of blending amino acids with very alkaline products like alkaline seaweed extracts. We don't make them, and use an acidic or a neutral one instead. Often we get asked for mixes of seaweed extracts and amino acids. People really want it, and they have no idea why, but it seems to be a popular blend of those two things together, mainly because there's no amino acids in seaweed extracts, and they just want to sort of catch-all seaweed biostimulant. And then the other thing to consider is that when we talk about sulfur and sulfur nutrition, there are a number of amino acids that have a sulfur compound in this side chain, so it can be a good source of sulfur as well if you get the right blend and the right amino acid product. So sulfur, you struggle to get too much sulfur in a plant, and it always produces good results. Sulfur. So yeah, that's amino acids, and a very popular source of biostimulants. Thank you very much.